The rivalry between Mike Tyson and Donovan Ruddock endures as one of the most violent, chaotic, and mythic clashes the heavyweight division has ever seen. It wasn't simply a contest of strength or skill. It was a collision of two men built from the raw material of destruction, each fueled by a different kind of hunger. Tyson fought to defend the throne that defined his identity. Ruddock fought to take it from him, to prove that the most feared man on earth could be broken. What unfolded inside those ropes wasn't just boxing. It was two forces of nature tearing into each other with every ounce of fury their bodies could muster. And long before the victories and the losses and the controversies were etched into the history books, you could feel the inevitability of it all. Tyson and Ruddock were destined to meet. They were destined to test each other. They were destined to leave scars that would never fully heal. In that first clash, the world saw something they had never witnessed before. Tyson, the destroyer, the undefeated force, the man who crushed opponents before they even touched the canvas, suddenly found himself facing someone who didn't crumble under the weight of his power. Ruddock took the punches that had ended careers. He absorbed the shots that folded giants. He stood in the center of the ring, refusing to move back, forcing Tyson to dig deeper than he ever had before. Even when he fell to the canvas, even when his legs gave out, even when the referee stepped in too early, Ruddock looked like a man who would have fought until his last breath. For the first time in years, Tyson saw his own violence reflected back at him, unflinching and unafraid. The controversy surrounding that stoppage ignited a firestorm. Fans raged. Commentators couldn't believe what they had seen. The entire boxing world demanded justice, demanded clarity, demanded one thing above all else: a rematch. And Tyson, even in victory, seemed unsatisfied. He didn't celebrate. He didn't boast. Because somewhere deep inside, he knew Ruddock had survived something he wasn't supposed to survive. Tyson had been denied the clean ending, the definitive conclusion he craved. And Ruddock, still burning with pride and defiance, refused to let the world think Tyson had truly beaten him. So the rematch was born not from promotion or marketing, but from the raw, unsettled energy between two men who understood that their story wasn't finished. When fight night arrived, the tension in the arena felt suffocating. Every seat was filled. Every camera was pointed at the ring. Everyone watching understood this was no ordinary fight. The opening bell didn't just signal the start of a boxing match. It signaled the renewal of a vendetta. Tyson launched himself forward like a man possessed, unleashing ballistic combinations that cracked like thunder. Ruddock responded with fury just as fierce, throwing bombs that could have ended the night in a heartbeat. The ring became a battlefield, a narrow strip of canvas soaked in sweat, adrenaline, and the echoes of pure, unfiltered violence. The knockdowns in the rematch were unforgettable. Tyson hit Ruddock with a right hand so clean it looked like something carved out of the air by a master craftsman. Ruddock fell, but he didn't stay down. He rose with a defiance that bordered on supernatural. Then he was dropped again, but once more returned to his feet, refusing to surrender. And when he finally found the opening he had been hunting for, he delivered the punch that defined his legacy. The smash. That brutal hybrid that lived somewhere between an uppercut and a hook. It detonated against Tyson's jaw with a force that made the entire arena gasp. For a moment, Tyson staggered. For a moment, the invincible king looked human. But champions aren't made for moments of ease. They are forged in moments like that. Tyson steadied himself, refusing to let the pain show, refusing to give Ruddock even a second of satisfaction. What followed was a stretch of combat so intense that even seasoned commentators struggled to describe it. They traded punches that would have ended other fights instantly. They pushed through exhaustion, injury, and fear. They fought as if losing meant erasing everything they had ever accomplished. And when the final bell rang, when the storm finally broke, both men had given so much that neither could lift their arms in triumph. They stood there, battered and bruised, knowing that what they had just endured would be talked about for decades. The judge's decision went to Tyson, not because Ruddock lacked heart or fire, but because the champion's precision and relentless aggression ultimately tilted the scales. Tyson walked away with the victory, but it was clear to everyone watching that Ruddock had earned something even more valuable than a win. He had earned respect. He had taken punches no man should survive. He had stood up to the most terrifying fighter of the era and refused to break. And he had given Tyson the kind of war that leaves a permanent mark on a fighter's soul. Yet fate has a cruel sense of timing. For Tyson, this fight marked the end of something. The end of his prime. the end of his aura of invincibility. The years that followed would bring chaos, scandal, imprisonment, and a long, slow climb back to a shadow of his former greatness. Ruddock, too, was never quite the same. The punishment he took from Tyson stole something from him that he could never fully recover. His chin, his stamina, his timing. Pieces of his greatness scattered somewhere across those two brutal battles. He continued fighting, but the magic wasn't there anymore. The razor had been dulled. And that is why this rivalry remains etched in the memories of boxing fans around the world. It wasn't defined by belts or titles. It wasn't defined by trash talk or theatrics. It was defined by raw courage. By the kind of violent beauty only boxing can create. By the willingness of two men to step into the fire and refuse to step out until the final bell forced them to stop. Tyson punished Ruddock. Ruddock punished Tyson. Neither man walked away the same. This rivalry didn't just test their bodies. It tested their identities. And long after the cheers faded, long after the belts were lost, long after the careers ended, what remains is the truth every fight fan recognizes when they watch those old clips. Heavyweight boxing has never been more explosive, more dangerous, or more unforgettable than when Mike Tyson and Donovan Ruddock shared the ring. What about you? Do you think Tyson was pushed harder by Ruddock than by any other opponent? And should their rivalry be considered one of the greatest in heavyweight history? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you love deep dive boxing stories like this one, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next breakdown of legendary fights and forgotten warriors.